All right, our next Delta Math is writing an explicit formula for a sequence. Okay, so write an explicit formula a sub n, the nth term of the, for a sub n, the nth term of the sequence. So they give us our sequence starting out 32, -8, 2, ... Okay, so let's see here. Let's create a new one. 32, -8, and 2 is our sequence. 32, -8, and 2. So we want to think, is it arithmetic or geometric? What's happening to get from our first term to our second term, from our second term to our third term, right? And just by looking at this, I can tell it's geometric. I can identify, hey, I'm dividing 32 by 4, by -4, or we really want to say I'm multiplying by -1/4. But if you don't see that right off the bat, try some things, right? If you think there's a common ratio, do your second term divided by your first term. Make sure, you reduce. We would get -1/4. Okay, and then try it to see if it works from your second term to your third term. So times -1/4 again. Hey, that gives me +2. So I know it's geometric. So G sub n equals my first term, which is 32. Oops, hang on. I'll write my general formula. G sub n equals G sub 1, my first term, times my common ratio, raised to the power of n minus 1. So I can start filling things in. G sub n equals my first term, which is 32, times my common ratio, which is -1/4. I like to use these parentheses just to make sure I'm keeping in mind that it's the whole ratio raised to the power of n minus 1. Okay, and I'm not sure if Delta Math wants us to simplify it down any further, so at this point, let's just type it in and see what they give us, if they let us do it. So equals 32 times -1/4 raised to the power of n minus 1. Right, so 32, I'm going to hit Shift 8 to get multiplication. I'm going to use my parentheses, -1 divided by 4, close those parentheses, and then I'm going to hit Shift 6 to type in my n minus 1. All right, and submit. Let's see what Delta Math says. All right, they took it. Nice. Cool. Let's see if we can get a nice arithmetic one. Oh, I think we got lucky. All right, so if we're going to write our explicit formula, here we've got an arithmetic sequence. All right, and it looks like our sequence is 28, 14, 7. Okay, so if we're going to write down our work, 28, 14, 7, ... So we want to think, okay, I suspect it's arithmetic, so that means I'm looking for my common difference. So I'm going to do 14 minus 28, and I see that gives me, what does that give me? 14 minus 28 gives me -14. Oh, that didn't work. So hey, because I know 7 minus 14 is not, so okay, this is I'm going to get my common ratio out, 14 divided by 28, and that actually is going to give me 1/2, and now that looks a little bit better. So this is in fact geometric upon closer look, and we would do the same thing. It looks like Delta Math is still using a sub n, whether it's arithmetic or geometric. I like to use G sub n in class just so it's that extra confirmation. And we know in algebra you can change variables around, or you can change your notation around a little bit as long as you're consistent. So the main thing there is consistency. But for geometric, it would be a sub 1 equals a sub n equals a sub 1 times the common ratio raised to the power of n minus 1. So here it would be 28 times 1/2 raised to the n minus 1. Okay, we can go back, type it in. 28 times 1/2 And then I'm going to do my caret, n minus 1, and click submit. All right, now I'm going to look for an arithmetic one. Let's see here. Okay, this one looks arithmetic, right? It looks like I'm subtracting 9 between my terms. Okay, so let's write the explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence. So let's see here. Our sequence is 29, 20, 11. Okay, so if I write 29, 20, 11, I suspect it's arithmetic, so that means I'm going to be looking for my common difference. So I'm going to do 20 minus 29, which I know gives me negative 9. So if I subtract, essentially, or add a negative 9 between each term, does it generate the next term? And yes, I see 29 minus 9 is 20. 20 minus 9 is 11, so this is arithmetic. So a sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in my first term. A sub 1 is 29. And we found our common difference is this negative 9. And I leave my n minus 1 notation. I am fine with you guys giving me the formula like this. We'll see what Delta Math says. Sometimes they want us to simplify it. And in this case, that would mean the distributive property. Okay, so, which is always good to practice, right? So we've got 29 plus negative 9 times n minus 1. 29 plus negative 9 times n minus 1. And we'll see if they give that to us, or if they wanted it simplified. All right, so Delta Math was totally fine with the just unsimplified form. Cool. And that's how you write your explicit formulas for arithmetic and geometric sequences.